Well, we're getting closer and closer to the great 2024 eclipse that's coming on April 8th. We're starting to see YouTube channels put videos up about how the government is warning the citizens in certain areas. You know, the National Guard is going to be on scene. You know, to be prepared for your power to be out, your water to be off, your internet to be down. You know, the grid's going to collapse and things like that. But what these YouTube channels aren't telling you is I've personally seen this. In 2017, I went to a town called Athens, Tennessee to watch totality. It's not far from where I live. Didn't take maybe an hour to get there, right? Well, that little town, which is a lot bigger than the town I live in, was packed. I mean, absolutely packed, right? I sat in a Walmart parking lot and watched it. And the Walmart parking lot was crowded. Everywhere was crowded, right? Once you got to where you were going, you wasn't driving nowhere else. If you was going somewhere, you was going to have to walk. And that's the way it was. And when we left, the interstate turned into a parking lot. I mean, you might sit for an hour and move 1 mile, right? They know this. You can look online and look up the map of where totality is, right? Where it's a full eclipse, and you can see which area has the longest amount of time that they get to see it. And these areas are warning their people, hey, you know, the power may go out, the water may cut off, the internet, all this stuff may go down, right? And people are like, well, the government thinks something's going to happen. They think there's going to be some type of an attack, or are we going to, you know, what's going to happen here? Is this it? Is this what's the end of the world, right? It's pretty simple. You take a town of 5,000, 10,000 people on a normal day, right? That, you know, that's the most they see. You may have 50, 75, 100, 200,000 people in this area during this day. What's that going to do? It's going to put a huge strain on the grid. It's going to put a huge strain. People stopping buying gas, right? Well, people want to drink some water. Maybe they go turn water on, you know, things like that. They're going to be consuming power. There's going to be a lot of internet usage in that area, right? National Guard coming out. Like I said, you got to stop and think, you know, towns like that, they may not have a huge police force and they're going to need help because traffic and just the people everywhere. If you haven't ever seen a situation like this, it's something to see, you know. Like I said, it took an hour to get there. It took me almost 5 hours to get home. And that's the way it's going to be in these areas. And this has been planned. People's planned this trip for years to get to this, right? Because some people, you know, they may never get to see it again. It may be the first time they ever got to see something like this, and they want to go see it and experience it, right? But people are beginning to panic, wanting to know, why is the government doing this, this, and this? You know, could they know something that we don't know? Yes, they could. I'm not saying something couldn't happen on that day. But when you sit back and you look at the whole picture and you start to understand, well, these small towns can't handle that many people, right? They can't handle it. Because honestly, once it's over, everybody's going to get in their car and want to go home or go back to their hotel room or whatever they're doing. And it's a gridlock situation. You can't hardly move in these areas during that. I mean, I saw it firsthand in Athens, Tennessee. Some of y'all may know Athens, Tennessee. It's not a very big town. It's not a huge, you know, it's not small, but it's not big. I watched it in a Walmart parking lot because that was the only place I could get to because the streets were packed, right? And it took forever to get out of this place. Forever. And if you're familiar where Athens, Tennessee is, you know how close Walmart is to the interstate. There was even people sitting on the side on the interstate pulled over to watch the eclipse. It's going to get in that area where the path is totality, where it's 100%, you know, which is, if you've never seen it, it's something to see. It is. You know, I've never seen anything like it until I seen it that day, and I would love to go see it again, but I'm not doing it. I'm not going to deal with that mess again. If it was closer to me, I might do it, but I'm not doing that again. I'm not driving an hour or two to go see it because I remember how hard it was to get home. Now, I'm not saying something couldn't happen, you know, as far as a cyber attack that day, you know, some type of attack in America. I'm not saying that can't happen, but we're hearing a lot of the channels on here telling you that what's the government know, what's the government know, and it's, if you look back at the situation, step back and look at it, and you'll be like, oh, yeah, that town can't handle that many people. They can't. They expect to put a strain on their grid, right? all them people's going to be using electricity. All them people's going to be using water. They're going to be using internet. They're going to be on the roads. They're going to be buying stuff out of the store, right? They're going to get thirsty. They're going to get hungry. That's the way it is. I don't know why some channels get on here and start telling you, hey, you know, this is covert, top secret, my insider information, blah, blah, blah. We've all discussed this, right, about insider information. I've told you the number one thing, common sense. Look at a situation and use your common sense on it. Everybody that watches my channel, I'm pretty sure, has common sense. So, you know, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think that the government knows that we're going to get attacked that day? There's going to be, you know, a cyber attack, some type of attack in America? Or do you think, hey, these areas are going to get overrun with people, and these smaller towns can't handle that, so their government is saying, hey, you might want to stock up on this, you might need to be prepared for power outages and things like that. You talk about the power outage. If the power goes out, the crews have to go out and work on the power lines, right, or the substations or whatever. That many people in an area, they cannot get to it. It's that simple. I'm sure those areas will have people already staged at certain locations, right? They'll have people there at the power stations or at the water distribution places. They'll already have people there, but if they have to move, it's hard to move in those areas. It really is. It took forever to get from the Walmart parking lot in Athens, Tennessee to the interstate, and then once I got on the interstate trying to get to Chattanooga was even worse, right? I mean, you're gridlocked, you're parked down, which it was fun that day. It wasn't stressful or nothing like that. But you could see, and now they've had 7 years to prepare for this, right? 7 years since the last one. I think that's what it is. Now, I'm not saying something couldn't happen. I'm not saying that. But if you step back and look at the situation, it kind of makes sense that, hey, yeah, if I was the mayor there or I was the governor in that state, I would tell my people, but I would come out and tell them, hey, we're expecting a lot of people here. You know, you need to be prepared for the chaos that's going to ensue with this as far as traffic, the strain on the grids, and everything like that. A lot of channels leave that part out. They automatically jump to the, this is it, you know, 2 weeks left, that type of stuff. So, I don't know, let me know your thoughts on it. I don't think it's nothing more than they're warning the people, hey, we're going to get overrun here with a bunch of people coming in to see this thing, right? It's going to cause all type of problems. Our small grid can't handle this type of stuff. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll come on here and say so, but I don't think we're going to have a huge attack that day or anything like that. I could be wrong. I think it all has to do with the amount of people that's going to be in those areas, in the places that can't handle them, are telling people, hey, we can't handle this many people. You know, you might need to stock up and things like that. Could be wrong. Been wrong before. Let me know your thoughts on this. Keep your head on the swivel. Be aware of your surroundings all the time. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. We're having a lot of high winds here today. You may even hear it. I'm inside, but the wind is just howling today. They got us under a wind advisory till tomorrow morning. Hoping the wind dies down tomorrow. But there's the video for today. Let me know what you think about it. Comment on it, share, like it, new subscribers welcome. Stay safe and keep prepping.